NSFW artists of Reddit, what are your worst client experiences? Not an NSFW artist, but I've had 2 to 3 requests of people asking me to draw their dicks they were willing to provide reference to. Actually, that's pretty cool. Can I get my dick with one of those powder wicks throwing tea into the Boston Harbor? That's it? Like just a dick? Are they gonna like frame it? I don't know about other artists, but most of the people I've worked with have been nice. The biggest problem I face is whenever someone tries to get art for free in exchange for promotions or whatever. I get a ton of weird requests, but I feel that people are generally a lot nicer because of the service I'm doing for them. It's a lot different than doing SFW commissions. Like Gandhi said, clout isn't a fair trade for tiddy. The biggest problem I face is whenever someone tries to get art for free in exchange for promotions or whatever. I run into a fair amount of that once people figure out I'm skilled with Photoshop and graphic design, SFW. It generally starts as me doing them a 5-minute favor to save them 2 hours. Then come the extra requests and mistaking a favor for having a free graphic designer at their beck and call. After a point, it leads to a conversation where I say to them, if I have to go and sit down in front of my desktop, you can now consider me on the clock. And I do not come cheap. Family member, not me, but I hadn't seen this posted yet. The customer who cannot mentally picture the image. Client will describe a scene that the body can't actually do. If drawn the way it was requested, it would be like the awful, airbrushed tailgate girl X10. Then the client will complain and demand redraws and edits to make something that is impossible to create. Magic Poser, or any 3D posing software on any phone. Super easy to use, and I think they made it free. Avoid guesswork and double check before committing to drawing. I use it often to draw, or communicate with artists. I'm usually a client, and a hobbyist. Makes life so much easier. As a freelance animator and artist, that's something that a guy I follow gave advice for: you give the client at most 2 revisions per stage. Even then, that's a lot. 2 on rough draft, 2 on line art, and 2 on final stage. But anything after that is a no-go. Part of the erotic audio community. I am very sure I ran into a legit pedo before who tried to talk me into acting out a scene of a child and father. Asking questions about wanting those experiences as a child. Shut that down real quick, and reported the account. He pops up with the same message every once in a while and I report it ASAP. I'm confused, is erotic audio like old school phone sex lines? Because a million years ago, I used to work for one of those, and it was quite good money, and I do still have the same voice and imagination. I never even considered it would still be a thing. I'm asking on the thread cause I'm sure you get weird DMs, but if you know of anybody hiring that, can you possibly push me in the right direction? If I can ask, I'm genuinely interested. How would I get into that kind of work? Feel free to DM if you're uncomfortable answering publicly. I'm lucky in that most clients are nice. The worst are those who contact you privately expecting something heavily discounted or free. I gotta pay my bills. Yay, the ones that don't value your time. I really love your work. I'm so shy to ask, but I'm a broke high school student and I really would like to commission you. I don't have much and was wondering if you'd make an exception for me. I'm a huge fan. This probably applies to the entire NSFW community, but people that just get off to taking your time or attention are especially difficult to deal with. Like they know that they won't be using your services, but they string you along for so long just talking about details and ideas. And then you doing that is what gets them off. In a sexual way, you mean? Charge for time up front. When I was taking commissions that included the option for erotica, my worst clients were SFW ones. 99% of NSFW commissions went perfectly fine, and the 1% that didn't usually were the most vanilla concepts. Draw this boring human female character topless, for example, requested by straight dudes. I had to threaten to contact some guy's grandma and college coach because he tried to get out of paying for a simple request. I'd completed the illustration and was waiting on the last payment when he started flagging the previous transactions himself, claiming his card was acting up. Since we'd been emailing one another, I just took his email, punched it into Facebook, and then sent their publicly available contact information back to him, asking if I should forward our emails to them so they could help him out since he was having a hard time with his card. The guy who wanted 12 full illustrations for a personal calendar of his original characters, tweaking one another's incredibly specific nipples in various scenes like locker rooms or in front of fireplaces, never had a single issue the entire 4 months we worked together. He wrote me a paragraph about the exact size / shape / color and length of nipple nubs for each of his menagerie of big, hunky men, and even paid for corrections when he wanted someone's areolas to be more tea saucer sized than just jelly jar lid sized. His money supported me for an entire summer when I was in college. To folks that do this work still, if some weeb that wants a naked Black Widow or Naruto character, tell the goober to Google it. Saves time and nothing else, because unless you know them, don't expect to get paid for something that basic, lol. It's been a long time since I've done commissions, but if I ever do them again I'm going right to the more avant-garde tastes because those folks have their priorities straight, to be honest. Fuck around with fictional people but treat the real ones nicely. Edit, made things more obviously past tense since it's been a long time since I've worked on erotic art for clients and have a much more tame art portfolio now. Incredibly specific nipples, this is my new band name. I had a t-shirt shop in a mall next to a kid's indoor playground. I was also willing to do about anything to get paid. The bouncer at a strip joint wanted some pretty rude t-shirts made up for specific girls. I did them, but I had to keep them turned away from everyone else. Each was a different haired girl with legs spread and a circle and line over them and the phrase slutbusters. I assume it was a scoreboard of some sort. If there's something horny in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Slutbusters. Slutbusters sounds like Blockbuster but for sluts. She wanted a simple drawing of a couple doing doggy style. Simple enough. But then halfway through she messaged me asking to add some scat. When I told her I wasn't into drawing that, she kept trying to convince me into it. Asking why I didn't like it. What it'd take to get me to draw it. Eventually it turned into what it'd take to get me to try it in real life. Guys. Girls. Just cause we draw NSFW doesn't mean we're sex machines that are down for whatever kink imaginable. Didn't know what scat was, had to Google. Regrets. So many regrets. But what would it take? I had a customer one time try to commission a rape scene and they tried to smear campaign me when I refused. I don't do kink stuff. Just no. The stuff I draw is pretty much vanilla. They wanted some art of a character straight up raping another character. And wanted me to include all kinds of gruesome details. Needless to say I said hell no, and I dropped their commission. I ain't about that life. They proceeded to warn people not to commission me because I was a scam artist, pun intended, and that I stole money from them. I didn't. Apparently they had done this to a couple of other artists too. That's the only bad experience I've had. Most people are very polite and understanding. Yikes, that's a bit extreme, but sadly these people are kind of common for trying to commission art. Usually if it gets bad you just out them with the chat logs to cover your ass. Most of the time you won't have to though, it's usually pretty easy to spot who's in the wrong. What did you do to fight against that smear campaign? I'm not an artist, but my friend is, and he constantly gets the clients that offer to be his reference in that they send him pictures of their dicks to be used in their requests or other stuff. A lot of them think it's okay because he's gay and talks lewd a lot on his Twitter profile. Some people really don't understand boundaries or have a basic concept of how to present yourself to other people. Poor guy. Your friend has my deepest empathy and sympathy on that one. I've had clients send me pics of themselves too, unasked for. It's never pleasant. The guy that, when asked to keep it simple because I was new to streaming, asked for a centipede woman with several segments each doing something with their vaginas. I haven't done a single commission since. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.